Hello again, everybody. Zagatech is here with the Atakline for this Monday, August the 18th, 2014. We're going to be very late the Atakline because I haven't made an Atakline in a week. Hope everyone had a great week. I had a great week. Went to a couple concerts and had one gig. I'll get to the gig first. I did a wedding reception this past Saturday. It's my only gig of the week last week. I'm off for 2 weeks. Till Labor Day. Till Peach Fest week. I'm trying to negotiate that right now. So I'm hoping to get that scheduled soon. But, gig on Saturday. Wedding reception. Hero Point Yacht Club. That was a fun event. It was for a member's daughter. And it was quite a fun event. They even hired an Elvis impersonator because they got married in Vegas. But they kind of forgot that this past Saturday was actually Elvis's death anniversary. So, I didn't mention that, but still. I had to mention it. So, we had that going down. There was a lot more young people than we thought. I thought we'd make some mostly old and young, but there was a lot of young people, so a lot, very much young people oriented. A lot of line dances, a lot of new music worked. It was a very fun event, very fun on Saturday. It was a very fun gig. And then I had a few concerts over the week. Went to see Katy Perry, that's why I made the attack a little bit early this past Monday. Right before I saw Katy Perry, she was a fun show. I also went to see, I'll talk about Katy in a second, but I also went to see at a last minute concert. Went to a Made a Fair over the week as well for the Demolition Derby and Bumper One. That was fun. And then I won tickets to see Hank Williams Jr. last night at the Knob. Won those on Thursday. Got fourth row pavilion in the left side. That was awesome. Great view there. Best seat I ever had at the Knob. And not only did I win those fourth row tickets, I also got a backstage tour of the Knob. That was cool seeing what's happening backstage and got to see some trucks and buses, loading docks. Being a disc jockey, I soaked it all in. And I even got to be on stage for a few seconds. That was kind of cool. Right before the opening of Jamie Johnson, who was awesome, as well as Bo Cephas himself. Hank destroyed it last night. It was awesome. Great, good old-fashioned, down-home, homegrown country music. And best song I had to be definitely Family Tradition, one of my favorites from him. He had all the great songs. Whiskey Bands, Country Boy Can't Survive, Tear My Baby, all that shit. He did like a half-hour acoustic set. That was kind of cool, too. Katy did too during her set. Of course, Katy was on Monday, the day of that nasty storm here in Michigan. Roads were flooded, but not for me. I made it to Katy Perry last Monday. And it was quite the fun event with her. Casey Musgraves being the opening act. That was a cool thing to see her as an opener. Katy's show was just a visual spectacle. It was just a fucking spectacle. That's what it was. There was shit going on every second. And Katy's not the best singer in the world, but she could sing very well. It was a very entertaining show from Katy Perry. The music set, some would say, brought down the show, but I kind of like that part because she kind of interacted with the fans a little bit during that section of the show. So, but it was a fun night for Katy Perry, and unfortunately, I found out during Katy Perry, since I made an Atakline in about a week, I have to make a comment about a celebrity death that happened this past Monday. I was in line for the bathroom at Katy Perry, and a security guy said, Robin Williams died tonight. I was like, wow. That was kind of shocking. Robin Williams, of course, if you all know now, this has been a week, died of a parent hanging in his home. And apparently he had the early stages of Parkinson's, the same disease that Mr. Michael J. Fox has. It's kind of a sad scenario about the death of Robin Williams, a very comedic genius. Seen a couple of his movies, Flubber, Bicentennial Man, Dead Poets Society, saw that in school. Obviously, Aladdin. So, very sad to hear about Robin Williams' death over the last week. They did a standing ovation for today, so standing ovation for Robin Williams. Rest in peace to you, my man. And condolences to the friends and family of Mr. Williams. Now, on with the entertainment news for this past week, starting with the number one movie for this week. TMNT retains the top spot with about $20 million the second week. Let's Be Cops debuts at number 3, where Expendables 3 was a bombity and deserved it. 15 mil the first week. Devastating. Not as much as the second one made 28 mil. And since I make an Atakline about a week, Billboard number ones from last week, we have a new number one album. Even though it got kicked off for the number one movie spot by TMNT, its soundtrack was number one last week. Ooga shaka, ooga ooga. Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack was number one, making it the first movie soundtrack to be number one since Frozen earlier this year. Anyway, we have a new number one album. Still number one single last week for the fourth week in a row. Wooed by Magic. But Magic's reign at number one could be threatened by Miss Taylor Swift next week. Not this week, but next week. As she leads the pack of a bunch of album releases set for October. Now today was Taylor Swift's live stream as she promised last Monday. And now here we are. The live stream happened. She announced a new album and new single. She calls this her first glorified pop album. We've been seeing her teasing the move from country to pop for numerous years now. But now she finally reveals she's going full-blown pop on her fifth album, titled 1989. She said the album was named that for two reasons. One, obviously she was born that year, and she turns 25 this year. And two, she was influenced by music from the late 80s, as she said during the live stream, which was one on Yahoo.com. And she showed her glorified pop side by announcing that album and a new single, Shake It Off, Bobby Taylor's most glorified pop single to date. It's bouncy as hell, very catchy, and I'm a disc jockey, so I'm very looking forward to playing it at my gigs. So looking forward to playing it at all my DJ gigs. I know Taylor's highly requested. I've been waiting for new Taylor for 2 years since the release of When. Now she finally announced the album. October 27th will be the release date of 1989. It just so happens to be the same week of the release of another anticipated album, a fifth album. This is Taylor's fifth album in her career, but the fifth album of the Carter series also comes out on October 28th, fresh off his Detroit show this past Saturday night. Lil Wayne over the weekend announced the new album, The Carter 5, for the October 28th release. Now, it's going to be intriguing to see Taylor and Lil Wayne face off in the same week. Both have sold 1 million copies of an album once, or in Taylor's case, back-to-back with Speak Now and When. The first artist to do that, to be the first artist to sell 1 million copies in the first week for 2 back-to-back albums. Of course, Lil Wayne did sell 1 million off the Carter 3. Almost 1 million on Carter 4. So we'll see what goes down with Taylor and Lil Wayne face off on October 27, 28 for the chart battle. 2 weeks before that, we got another big release date. October 14th. Big month for album releases in October. Lil Wayne and Taylor lead off, but 2 big albums are also coming out, like I said, on October 14th. An album from a country band who needs to step up their game and try to recapture the magic of their first album, and a country legend, and a rock and roll legend, should I say, releasing his first album in 8 years. Let's get to the country duo, should I say, that's going to follow up their first album, the big first album, Here's to the Good Times, led on by the hit singles, numerous hit singles, Stay, Get Your Shine On, Round Here, and obviously the biggest hit, Cruise. I'm referring to Florida Georgia Line. The new album is called Anything Goes, preceded by the hit single Duck. The band has been categorized as the leaders of the broad country movement. We released that album, like I said, October 14th. And they got some competition, as their album release date will oppose a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame legend from Detroit City. Bob Seger will also release his new album, his first since 2006's Face the Promise. The album entitled White Out will be released on his longtime record label, Capitol Records. His new single was released over the weekend in Detroit, as it was the Woodward Dream Cruise weekend. It was timed to it. The single Detroit Man was released over the week, and now the album release date is revealed. Of course, all of these albums will be probably accompanied by a tour. Of course, Lil Wayne is currently on the Drake vs. Lil Wayne tour, which, like I said, he was just here in Michigan a couple days ago. Taylor is, of course, more than likely going to go on a 1989 tour. She'll probably announce that in the next couple of weeks. She's even doing a contest. She's going to give like 1,989 prizes, including tickets and meet and greets. Florida Georgia Line is currently on the Jason Aldean But a Down tour, and on the week of the album release date, they'll be in Detroit for 2 nights, at the 10th and the 11th at the Palace. And Seger will also be more than likely to be announcing a tour to accompany his album. He went on tour last year. I think went on tour 2 years in a row, 2012 and 13. So expect tours from these artists as well. So there you go. Taylor Swift, new album, 1989. Set for release October 27th. New single, Shake It Off, and the video's out right now. While Lil Wayne's album, Dakota 5, will be coming out the 28th of October. And Bob Seger's album and Florida Georgia Line's album both comes out on October the 14th. So big month of album releases in the month of October. That is it for the Atakline for today. See you all later with that mind you've been attacked by the news from Zach. See you all later, everybody. Yeah.